How's it going, everybody? It's John Low Fox. It's my channel where I talk about anime, video games, cartoons, and today I'm here to talk about Daredevil Born Again and share with you my thoughts and stuff. So I'll give you pretty much my pros, cons, and thoughts and feelings and what I felt neutral about it and all that other stuff. The other day I was kind of on Jay Leno's stream and stuff where I kind of guest starred for a second, but because I was having some technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi connection and all that stuff with my phone and my computer, I just said fuck it. So I just decided, all right, I'll just be active in the chat. That's probably for the best. But anywho, it is what it is. But anyways, I kind of wanted to really make this video to really like put out my thoughts out there and stuff, and just just tell you what I personally thought about Daredevil Born Again, because I mean, I kind of went out my way and trust me, it's been a long time since I've actually had Disney Plus. I was on somebody else's plan for Disney Plus, but after we all got tired of like we had almost like no motivation to like want to watch Disney Plus, we were just like, all right, let's just get rid of it. We just kept HBO, Hulu, Netflix, all that stuff, but we got rid of Disney. We were just like, no, we're not that attached to it anymore. But after Daredevil Born Again, was coming back on Disney Plus and stuff, I was like, well, since this is something that I can't just casually see online unless I'm on part of somebody's paid membership or whatever, I decided, you know what? Let me get back Disney Plus real quick so I can watch Daredevil Born Again for myself, with my own eyes and all that stuff, and maybe I might take this as an opportunity for the month to check out maybe some stuff like from the MCU that I might have missed purposefully in the movies, because I was like, it was so bad. I'm not gonna spend my money to go to the theaters to go watch it, because it was just like, yeah. So, yeah. So let me get right into it. Normally, I like to start by talking about the cons and stuff first before I talk about something good. But I'm going to actually start with the pros this time. Then I'll talk about the cons, and then I'll talk about my neutral. I think this is probably the best assortment that I have this planned out. So for the pros, I would definitely say that I think the performances are good as expected. You got Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio. You have a lot of these like actors and stuff returning from like the Netflix and stuff, and them just transitioning to like Disney and all that stuff, a part of this new Daredevil Born Again thing. Definitely feels like an official season 4 of of the previous Daredevil series and all that stuff. That's for sure. So yeah, I'm definitely liking it and stuff so far. Definitely decent storytelling. The story doesn't seem bad. We'll talk about some of my problems when I get to the cons section, but as far as the story goes, it's alright. I mean, there are probably some things I wish I could have just done a little bit differently, but that's just me. Okay? Now, yeah, and then next up, my third pro is that I like the intro. I actually like the opening and all that stuff to Daredevil Born Again. After hearing that, it got me hooked back on listening to the original, the classic one, and now listening to the new one and stuff. I was like, damn, this is actually like pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of, makes me think of like X-Men 97 and stuff, how like that intro, like at first I'm like, well, animation wise it's not the best thing in the world, but I'm like, but still, I'm not gonna lie, that soundtrack, that opening theme and stuff, it hits hard, and this is like a retool of that too, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And you see like all these like statues and stuff smashed up or whatever, and then it just reassembling, symbolizing, oh, Daredevil Born Again. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like the new intro. I think it's just as good as the Netflix Daredevil intro, the first one. And then, of course, the character the character dynamics and the chemistry. Yeah, I definitely like the character dynamics and stuff, and just like, certain scenes with characters and stuff. It really does feel like genuine. It feels like, oh wow, this is pretty good. Like Daredevil and Heather Glenn and stuff, them talking and all that stuff. I actually like that. They have some like a good chemistry right there. Of course, Daredevil and Kingpin, they also have some good chemistry. Even from like the trailer when they played that clip and stuff, it kind of seemed like, like they were like old buddies just meeting up and stuff. Although obviously, we know better than that. But it did feel like a pretty good conversation. So I was like, damn, it almost feels like they want to be friends or something like that, or what I mean? It's like, it's weird. But I definitely do like the character dynamics though. Okay. And then another thing too, my last pro is that I gotta say is it's definitely PG-13. It is definitely not kidified. It doesn't feel like, well, I'm gonna explain a little bit about how I feel like Disney has its influence on this, but like it feels vulgar and stuff, and like they have no problem dropping f bombs and stuff, like usually in PG-13 stuff. I think they only have like one opportunity to drop one f bomb, and then that's it. But no, they were doing it a bunch of like a few times here and there and stuff, and and they're not really afraid to cross some lines and stuff, So I'm like, I really do like that. I really do appreciate that a lot. So that's pretty cool and stuff. So I gotta say it's definitely PG-13. It's not like straight up rated R yet, like how not Daredevil, how Kingpin was straight up just decapitating people's heads with car doors and all that stuff. Even though they did reference that in the show, which is funny. But no, it's not on that level yet. Or when oh god, remember when like Kingpin, like when he killed his dad and stuff, like he was like, his dad was like abusing his mom and all that stuff, and like his dad was like, "What are you gonna do about it, Tubby?" And then he's like, "That's what I thought." And he turned around, and then Kingpin hit his dad with that damn hammer and stuff. I was like, "Oh shit!" It like he hit him in the back of the head with that hammer. He was like, and then he died. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it's like it looked like an egg just cracked or something when he hit him with that damn hammer in the back of his. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not that level of dark yet. But I'm just saying, like, but it doesn't feel like it's, out of place either. So those are pretty much my pros for Daredevil Born Again. So I'm going to get it right into my cons. All right. So this is one of my major issues, and this is really with Kingpin, okay? I don't really like how they've been making Kingpin kind of like this depressed, and now he's having marital problems and stuff out of nowhere, which is weird, because it started ever since with Hawkeye and stuff, which I actually thought Hawkeye was a pretty decent show. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like that good either. It was kind of a generic show, but it was all right. But with Hawkeye and stuff, Kingpin was just kind of like, oh, the villain in there and all that stuff, and he got defeated by Kate Bishop because she like I don't know, she blew up some bombs or something like that with her marksmanship or something, and it like that's how she defeated Kingpin. And I think Kingpin also got hit by a car too, and then shot by Echo later. So yeah, I mean, but I thought, okay, well, he's still redeemable, you know what I mean? In terms of like, not in terms of like his character, but I'm saying like he's redeemable as far as like, well, he can still come back from this, like, you know what I mean? He can still be a pretty decent villain even after all that, in my opinion, And then later on, Echo, I haven't watched Echo, and I'm not, even though I got Disney Plus back now, I'm not gonna watch that show. I'm like, I don't want to see Kingpin get cucked. Okay, I do not want to see him get cooked that badly or waste my time like that. But I've seen the clips where Echo, basically she made Kingpin relive his like, what was it? Relive his fear or something like that, or relive his childhood trauma and stuff. And like, yeah, that, and then Kingpin, I saw him like running away, crying and stuff. I was like, what the you know what I mean? I'm like, for a major bad guy like Kingpin, and they were talking about they wanted to make this guy like the street level of Thanos. Yeah, please. I mean, don't get me wrong, Vincent D'Onofrio, he's a great actor. Kingpin is definitely a great villain, one of the best Marvel comic villains out there. But Jesus Christ, oh my God, they messed up Kingpin badly. After that, I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can look at Kingpin the same way now. At least that version of Kingpin, But yeah, so I'm not really a fan of this whole depressed phase where he's like, oh, coasting through life and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden he's having marital problems and stuff where his wife is taking over the family business and all that stuff, which, I mean, it makes sense that, of course, she'll handle his affairs. But I mean, like, she's running it better than him and all that stuff. So that's where I'm like, that's where the Disney side of things is coming from. Where, oh, okay, so Vanessa's the new Kingpin and she's just doing it better than Wilson Fisk. Okay, sure. And then on top of that, I kind of missed this a little bit, but yeah, like, Vanessa been cheating on Kingpin openly. She's like Kingpin is like, Vanessa, I know about Adam. Like, what the fuck? Adam? Yeah, like, she cheated on Kingpin and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if this is Kingpin, like the old Kingpin, bro, Adam would have been gone. He would have, Or if he knew, like, if he had any sense, he would have known not to mess with Vanessa. You know what I mean? And it's wild too because like Vanessa, she was down bad for like Kingpin back in like what was it, the first season? Yeah, back in season 1 and stuff. She was so down bad for him and stuff. Even though she knew he was a crime boss and everything, she was still like, yeah, I'm with it. Like I'm with it. You know, I'm with the shits. So it's just kind of crazy to me. Like, oh, okay, so yeah. Like that's just my opinion though. I'm just like, oh, okay, so yeah, I'm not really a fan of this depiction of Vanessa. I don't think per se. Now I'm talking a little bit out of ignorance because I'm not, yeah, and I know Kingpin loves his wife, but I don't think Vanessa was really that deep into the whole crime stuff. She obviously knew he was doing it, but I don't think she was really a big fan of like, you know, his crime life or whatever, or his criminal life. That's why I think at one point in the Spider-Man comics, like Kingpin actually took a break, or actually he originally quit being Kingpin in the comics, like, you know, for a while until, you know, Frank Miller had revised him. He killed off Vanessa, and then Kingpin was like, I'm back. And then that's when him and his rivalry with Daredevil got kicked off back in like, what, the 80s? So, yeah, there was that. But anyways, so, yeah, but regardless, I'm not really a huge fan of him being like all this stuff happened to him. But I don't know, for all I know, him being a villain and everything, and who knows, this might go south. I think Kingpin could probably, you know, get rid of Vanessa, you know, or maybe he might, because like back in season 3, Daredevil did have some blackmail evidence against Vanessa, and was using it as like leverage to kind of have Fisk stay away from Karen and Foggy and all that stuff. So they kind of, you know, were at like a little bit of a stalemate, or, you know what I mean? Right. So, anyways, and they're kind of at that stage now where Kingpin's like, all right, if you don't, you know, Kingpin's the mayor, so he's like, all right, if you don't become the vigilante anymore, I'll stay in my lane. And Matt's like, all right, and if you don't, you know, be the Kingpin of crime and all that stuff, I'll stay in mine. It is what it is. So that was that conversation that they were trying to establish back inside the diner. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But anyways, then, of course, here's a big spoiler right here. Killing off Foggy Nelson. Yeah, I thought that was pretty dumb. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, why the hell did you guys kill off Foggy Nelson? You know what I mean? Like, that is so dumb. And not Karen Page. There were so many times Karen should have died in the series. And it's not to say I hate Karen, but hear me out. But what I'm saying is, like, because first off, Karen was supposed to die back in season 3 when Bullseye was at that church and stuff. Because that's where Karen died in the comics and stuff. He was trying to save some people and stuff, and Daredevil was fighting Bullseye. And, you know, Bullseye had killed Karen and all that stuff similar to in the comics. But instead, I think Bullseye killed, what's his face? That priest that was you know, that Daredevil knew and all that stuff. So yeah, that was just, yeah, I don't know. But anywho, and then here, kind of, well, it was really quick, but I'm like, that was kind of a golden opportunity to rectify that. But I honestly feel like it's probably because Karen's a female. They instead killed off Foggy instead of Karen, and I'm just like, really? Yeah, I'm just like, really now? Really? So, you killed off Daredevil's best friend, and then they kind of wrote Karen out the picture where she was like, well, I was depressed too. He was my friend, and then she moved to San Francisco, and all that stuff. I'm like, see, if Karen was really a true love interest for, like, Matt, and not to say she's not, she is, but she's not, like, the true love or anything like that, or whatever, because she would have stayed with Matt, and they would have handled this together, honestly. That's kind of what a couple would actually do. But that aside, though, where was I at? But no, even in the comics, though, that's the reason why they killed off Karen, and they haven't killed off Foggy, is because Foggy is Matt's best friend. Okay, Karen, like, Foggy is more workable and stuff as far as, like, being one of, like, Matt's best side characters. But Karen, I mean, Karen's came and gone and stuff over the years, at least from, like, this, like, when she was first introduced since the 60s, all the way up until, like, when she was killed off, I think in the 90s or 2000s and stuff. Yeah, she's been in and out because Matt's had like a lot of other like love interests apart from just Karen. He's had Black Widow, he's had Elektra, he's had the current girl Heather Glenn. That's in the show. Heather, I'm gonna get to her in a second. But yeah, and he's had plenty of. Trust me, Daredevil's had plenty of other girls. I'm just saying. But Karen Page, she's not in game, so I'm just making that clear. And that's kind of why tragically they killed her off because she just doesn't work anymore. So yeah, it's just kind of dumb that they just killed off Foggy. Okay, that's how I feel on that. It should have just been Karen and all that. Bullseye, yeah. But I guess I can get to that in a second too. Oh yeah, speaking about Bullseye, my next point, the terrible costume that Bullseye got on. They got this man wearing the freaking purple, looking like a purple kick-ass and stuff with the ski mask and everything. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I remember there were some leaks or some set photos of like Bullseye and the costume and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's Bullseye? No, that's not Bullseye, bro. Now, who knows? They actually might, like, later on, like, later down the line, actually give us an actual comic book accurate Bullseye costume, which that would be cool. But they should actually market that, though, like, of Bullseye actually wearing the costume and stuff. Or I would have just preferred him already from the jump, just wearing the costume and stuff. But, yeah. But now, since I'm on the subject of Bullseye, it's kind of weird because, like, that he just out of nowhere just killed Foggy, and this could be me just maybe misremembering some stuff, but I'm like, I don't think Bullseye knew that Matt Murdock was Daredevil, so why would he go after, why would he go after Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, like, at the bar and stuff all of a sudden? Like, I mean, I know he's had some run-ins with Karen and stuff, and he was kind of stealing Daredevil's identity back in Season 3, when he was posing as Daredevil or whatever, framing him for crimes and shit like that. And he, yeah, like I said, he kept having his little run-ins with Karen, like at the office in the church and all that. He was like, hello, Karen. Like he was speaking as if he was like, oh, since Karen had run-ins with Daredevil publicly, like since the first episode. But anywho, yeah. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of that costume. That costume is ass. The gloves on it with the little targets and stuff, that's pretty cool. But the costume itself, though, no. He looks like somebody like Payback or something like that, or like the Vigilante. But he don't look like Bullseye. And funny enough, I'm like, honestly, the 2003 movie Bullseye, he looks way better than the Netflix Bullseye, in my opinion. And honestly, I think Colin Farrell, I think he was a better Bullseye. That's just me, though. I'm not saying that the current dude that saw him playing him and stuff, I'm not saying he's bad or anything. Oh, no, he's good. But I'm just like, yeah, but Bullseye's just a simple killer and stuff that just, use, projectiles and throwing weapons or whatever. He could turn anything into a weapon or whatever. That's Bullseye. But, yeah, but him just sniping Foggy, Call of Duty style, and then fighting Daredevil and stuff, and then the way how like Daredevil threw him off that building and stuff, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I was like, yeah. Although, again, done better in the 2003 movie because at least that felt more impactful. He threw him out that damn mural, and he fell into that police car, and then that man was in a body cast, at the end of the movie and stuff, But even in there, I think they were kind of alluding to that if they ever did a sequel, he might have gotten an adamantium skeleton, or his skeleton might have been laced with adamantium like in the comics. And I could have sworn that they should have gone that route too inside the Netflix or inside the MCU version, because Bullseye, remember, like in Season 3, Bullseye got his like spine like broken and stuff, like by the Kingpin. Like Kingpin busted him against that damn wall, and stuff during their little three-way fight and all that stuff. He took out Bullseye. So I thought that was and in the post credits or whatever of the Season 3, I could have sworn there was like a scene where like Bullseye was getting something, like some surgery done on him, and I thought that was implying that he was probably getting like some adamantium or some kind of like metal or something laced to him. That's why he was able to probably survive that fall. But I don't think they really properly explained that though. But anywho, but some people are probably thinking that, okay, so now he's probably gonna get it after he just fell off that building. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see, though, what they do with that. But those are pretty much my general thoughts on Bullseye as far as that goes. Yeah, so obviously not a fan of the costume, not a fan of him killing Foggy Nelson or having some reason to kill Foggy Nelson over Karen Page, unless I missed something. Or he tried to kill Karen too, but I'm saying like it should have been Karen. Come on, let's just be honest, okay? And just a plethora of things. And then another one of my cons: hardly any Daredevil. Yeah. So I know it's been 2 episodes, but come on, these episodes. All right, if I'm not mistaken, there's about 8 to 9 episodes of this series, right? We got 2 episodes out right now. First episode, we get like the beginning with Daredevil and all that stuff. Like Matt Murdock becomes Daredevil for a minute, like for a bit, for an hour throughout that entire episode. He's not Daredevil. Then we go into the second episode, which is like 45 minutes long, or 40-something minutes long. Still not Daredevil. So I'm like, what the hell? I want him to be Daredevil and I want him to be fighting crime and stuff. I mean, I get it that he retired because out of respect for like Foggy or something. But I mean, come on, how many times have we done this song and dance where Matt's given up being Daredevil and all that stuff? You know, we seen it in like season 3. We saw it in, well, my bad. I'm trying to go in order. We saw it sort of in Defenders. We saw it inside season 3. Or no, wait. What was it, season 2? It was when Matt, no, I'm tripping. It was Defenders, yeah. Like he gave up Daredevil for a bit, but then he came back, and then season 3, he, yeah. So just Defenders. I'm just like, come on, can we stop doing the same damn thing over and over again and just have him just be fucking Daredevil, or his friends just stop chastising him for being Daredevil and stuff when he's actually out here saving lives and actually putting his supernatural abilities to use. You know, I'm just saying. So. Yeah, I definitely want to see more of that in action versus just the drama and all that stuff. You know, I mean, the drama's fine, but it's just like, come on. I want to see him be Daredevil. I want to see him fighting the villains and all that stuff. You know, that's what I want to see. You know, so yeah. Then on top of that, I'm not really a huge fan of the fight choreography. At least that opening scene with Daredevil and Bullseye and stuff. Like, it was all right. But they kept doing a lot of cut-throughs, and it kind of just looked a little bit sluggy, in my opinion. And hell, there was like a shot of their silhouettes and everything, and they were trying to do that hallway fight scene. Which, don't get me wrong, the hallway fights back inside the Netflix Daredevil were really good. But I'm saying here, yeah. I mean, but I did kind of like how Bullseye was throwing the knives and stuff. But even then, it just kind of looked like, well, he was just throwing it in close range, and I'm just like, really? Yeah, like it just didn't. I don't know if it felt like it was connecting or whatever, because like the lights kept flashing so you can barely see it, and I'm just like, yeah. And then by the time they get up to the rooftop, they're already tired as hell, and yeah. And then Daredevil throws Bullseye off the thing. Again, I'm just saying the 2003 movie definitely had a better fight and stuff. I know it had some CGI stuff there too, and it was 2003. Come on now, but I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. But anyways, so yeah. And then also the whole Vanessa being the girl boss thing. I'm not really a fan of that. I know I explained that a little bit with the whole depressed Kingpin thing, but I'm not really a fan of Vanessa being like, oh, she's the new Kingpin now or something like that. Like I said, I do think, okay, well, as a family member of, Kingpin, it does make sense for her to handle his affairs and all that stuff or whatever, and to kind of take over in his time and place, but she should probably be the one keeping the seat warm until Wilson's back and back in the the seat and everything. That's how I feel. But yeah, and then another thing too, and this isn't really a con or a pro or anything like that. I'm just saying something I just wanted to point out. But it's kind of ironic that they don't have children because in the comics they do actually have a couple of kids and stuff. Like Kingpin does bring up Echo Maya Lopez as his student or something like that, when he actually did adopt her in the comics and all that stuff officially, I believe. But apart from her, though, I know that there is Richard Fisk. Richard Fisk is, I guess he's also goes by the name The Rose or something like that. And he's also another, like, Spider-Man villain that wants to, like, go after, like, Kingpin and take over his, like, criminal empire and stuff like that. He wants to take over his dad's criminal empire. Yeah. And if you actually remember from Spider-Man the Animated Series too, like Richard Fisk was also he was in that series and stuff. Like he actually framed Peter Parker for like treason and stuff because Alistair Smythe was doing a lot of he was I think he was selling secrets and stuff, and they kind of pinned the blame on Peter Parker, and then Daredevil had to team up with Spider-Man to try and clear Peter Parker's name and all that. That was a really good episode. Definitely a really good two-part episode and all that stuff. That was actually one of my first introductions to Daredevil too. But anyways, that aside, and then he came back later on when he teamed up with Tombstone as well. So yeah, that was a pretty cool. So it's kind of weird. But I understand though, because they got married in season 1, so it's kind of like, yeah, but it's not like I'm expecting them to have like a full-grown like Richard Fisk and stuff by now or anything like that. But at least, I'm just like wanting to point that out in case anyone missed that. But those are pretty much my cons. And then next up, these are just things that I'm a little bit neutral about. That's talked about, but I'm just like, I'm a little bit indifferent on it, which I don't really like, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, this doesn't really take me out of the experience or anything. So, or it's just like questionable. Okay. First up is the CGI. Now, I will say the CGI does not look that great. Okay. And I didn't expect any better. I didn't expect no less. I'm just like, yeah, that's just about what I expected. Like with him swinging on the rooftops and all that, I was like, yeah, I know that ain't no stuntman or anything, and that's full-on CGI. I don't mind it, though, because I'm like, it is what it is. I'm like, I don't think it looks that bad. Like, it's not, yeah. And then, next up, I gotta say, let's see, Heather Glenn. Oof. So, in case you don't know who Heather Glenn is, now, I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable about this character, but Heather Glenn, she's actually a love interest of Daredevil inside the 70s up to, like, I think the 80s comics and stuff. I think she's a little bit of his girlfriend and a little bit of like bleeding into like Frank Miller's run. But Heather, she's actually a love interest of Daredevil. She actually knew that Matt Murdock was Daredevil and all that stuff. And tragically, she had kind of committed suicide and all that stuff at one point. Well, not even at one point, but, she committed suicide and all that stuff. And that kind of, I guess put Matt in a little bit of a depression and stuff. So that was pretty fucked up. So, yeah. If you thought losing a Karen Page and losing Elektra and losing, what's his face? I'm like, now losing Heather and all that. I'm like, damn, this man can't catch a break when it comes to, like, his love interest and all that stuff. So I'm just like, damn. But hey, again, like the 2003 movie, at least they got it right where they got Bullseye to kill Elektra and stuff. But they should have had Bullseye kill fucking Karen, not Foggy. But I don't know. But I guess that was probably their excuse to kind of write Karen and Foggy out the picture and then introduce this new chick, Christina McDuffie, or something like that. She's all right, in my opinion. I actually thought she was like Liz Allen for a second because, if you don't know, I think in the comics, Foggy at one point dated Liz Allen from the Spider-Man series and stuff. Liz Allen was a former crush of Peter's back in the day. And later on, a love interest of Harry Osborn, and and I guess temporarily she was with Foggy Nelson for a bit. So, so I thought that was her for a second because they race swapped her inside Spider-Man Homecoming, and I think by now she should be a grown woman because she should be like what, college age or something. Even though that would be kind of weird because she's college age and he's like at least in his maybe 30s to 40s or something like that. But I mean. Ain't like, oh, well, she's underage or anything like that, you know what I mean? But no, this is a different character. So I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah. But Heather Glenn, so that's who that character is. So she's going to be the love interest here, kind of replacing Karen, and Christina McDuffie is the chick that's replacing Foggy as like the new best friend type character. So that's how it is. And then next up, this is probably going to be the most controversial and the last topic that I'm going to go over, and the correlations with Donald Trump. Yep. A lot of people were definitely saying that the whole Kingpin trying to run for mayor and all that stuff and him winning the election is supposed to be like an allegory for Donald Trump. Would I put it past the writers to do it? No, I wouldn't really say that necessarily. Do I have much of a problem with it? No, not really. I don't really, I mean, now, generally speaking, now, don't get me wrong. I do have a problem when, like, writers do nothing but, like, talk about Donald Trump 24/7 and stuff like that, and then they try to make the villains inside the shows or whatever, and inside comic books, always, like, a reflection of Donald Trump and stuff like that. And it just gets so, like, cartoonishly ridiculous like a lot, because they just really hate Trump that much. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't care if you hate or like Trump, just stop it, okay? Just stop it and give me a good material, and give me like just them being themselves, the villains just being the villains, okay? Like, enough of this. But the Kingpin stuff with that, I'm like, with him running for mayor, I don't have a problem with it. I don't really care, because I'm just like, I mean, yeah, there have been other, like, like, not other heroes, other villains that have, like, gained positions of power and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, like, this isn't really that bad, or I wouldn't just automatically just say, oh yeah, that's definitely Donald Trump in a nutshell, because, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I would really wouldn't just, be all like that. Because, I mean, we've seen guys like Lex Luthor and stuff become, like, the president of the United States and all that stuff back inside, like, the 2000s, and stuff. So it's not like, oh, this hasn't been done, before or after, Donald Trump had ran into office and stuff. So the Kingpin thing with, yeah, that, it's not like they're really writing Kingpin to be like, oh, he's like a correlation to Donald Trump. I mean, maybe. I'm not saying, again, like I said, I'm not saying they're not doing it, but I don't think it's like, yeah, because I've seen it done like 10 times worse, okay? Like, where it's like not even like, yeah, not even just like, it's not even gray, it's not even myopic, whatever. It's just, yeah, or neutral. It's just like straight up, just, yeah, like The Boys, like where they do with Homelander and stuff. Even though Homelander is, like, Anthony Starr is a very entertaining character, like, he's a really entertaining, like, actor and stuff as Homelander. But they're trying to correlate, oh, Homelander to Donald Trump, and be like, oh, look, Homelander and all that stuff, his supporters and blah, 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 you know what I mean? Trump supporters. Yeah, that's, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining to watch The Boys, but I'm just saying, yeah, and I've seen it done worse, like, where they will take, like, actual good villains, like, let's say Shao Kahn, right, from Mortal Kombat, and they'll try to, like, oh, he's didn't try to correlate him to Donald Trump by having him quote him and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, can you guys please get out of your politics, and just other stuff like that, or MODOK and all that, like, yeah. I've seen it done worse. Here, it's not even that offensive, honestly. I don't really think that this is really that bad, per se. I think I'm like, it's alright. I don't mind Kingpin running for mayor and stuff, and him actually becoming the mayor and stuff like that. I'm like, it is what it is. But, yeah, that's how I personally feel. Damn, there was something else that just leapt into my mind too about that. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that cool scene though. So I mean, despite like how Kingpin's written his stuff, I really do feel like that Kingpin is like I really do feel like he does mean well, to a degree, or at least for the time being, he definitely does mean well. He definitely wants to help the city in however way he can, and he will do it like in the he will definitely do it in the most, he will do it what he does best, basically, you know what I mean? It's the Kingpin. Like, how he threatened that police commissioner, because that police commissioner was like, all right, I'm going to get you fired in the first week of you being mayor and all that stuff. And he was, like, talking shit to Kingpin in front of his face and everything. And then Kingpin, like, that scene where he called him into his office, and then he was like, and he was eating that Philly cheesesteak in front of him, and he was like, that was a funny-ass scene with Kingpin, though. I'm not going to lie to you. And that really reminds you, like, that was funny as hell, and it was a really, like, whatchamacallit, it was a really good intimidation type of scene, where, like, his guy was like, oh, yeah, I like to get Philly cheesesteaks from so-and-so, and then Kingpin is like, yeah, that's your favorite place, but here is my favorite place to go to get a Philly cheesesteak, and he shows him the photo of his wife and his son, and everything, like, he knows where they stay at. And he was like, he instantly, like, shut the fuck up and started to bitch up, and he was like, oh, and then Kingpin was like, so your pay rate, 0, police training, 0, and all that, you're getting extra hours and all that. He was going to make this man's career a living hell. I was like, god damn, that was funny as hell. And then after he left the room, he was like, Kingpin spit the Philly cheesesteak out, and he was like, ugh, it's disgusting. That shit was kind of funny, though. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I definitely can't wait to see more episodes of Daredevil Born Again. So far, it's a pretty solid series. It's not the best and stuff. I definitely got to say it's like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely good to, get Daredevil back and stuff. They've been trying to really put a lot of like focus on Daredevil and stuff. Hell, they've been using them for as marketing for She-Hulk. They've been using them as marketing for Echo. And hell, that new Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, they had him appear in that, voiced by Charlie Cox. So yeah. So I'm like, yeah, they haven't fumbled yet with Daredevil, so that's a good thing, you know. So yeah. So that's all. Those are pretty much my thoughts about Daredevil Born Again. Tell me down below what you guys think. Do you think it's a good show? Like I said, I think it's pretty promising. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is the John Lowe Fox, and I'm out. Peace, and until we meet again.